I think it is wild that the wounds that we experience as children, we attract that in our relationships. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra. For those who are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button just to stay up to date with my latest uploads. So here on my channel, we're all about accepting ourselves, following our passions, and really creating a life that we love. So unfortunately, I have not created any content this year, and I'm super sorry about that. I just was really living a life that I was not loving at the moment. So it was kind of hard for me to, get on camera and do this and create my content. And I actually had content that I was ready to do. Every time I sat in front of the camera, I just could not do it. As you guys may know, I've been in therapy for about a year now. So I want to say like around this time is when I started therapy last year. At the end of 2019, kind of dove into some childhood trauma that literally sent my life like into shambles. Like I felt like I was unraveling. I just felt like nothing was right. I felt like I did not get the support that I needed from people that are super close to me. And so I kind of just shut down, but I'm not there anymore. I feel like I've picked myself up and I feel a little better. But that has inspired me to start this new series on my channel called Unravel. And it's basically just going to be unraveling the inner child. Specifically, I feel like in the African American community, we don't really realize the effects of parenting and how it affects the child in the long run. I don't think we are very in tune with our mental health. I feel like we are not even aware of mental health at all. I feel like it's kind of just like we have this tough it out mentality, and that's not always the best thing. So in today's video, I'm just going to be talking about some childhood wounds that could be affecting you or someone very close to you. So I feel like personally, if you are at a place where you want to do some self-improvement or want to see some growth, I think being able to identify if you have any childhood wounds is the perfect place to start. So this could be whether you witnessed violence as a child, experienced violence as a child, or if your parents physically or emotionally neglected you. More than likely, you got some trauma showing up in your adult life. Sometimes we try to ignore it or just like sweep it under the rug like, hey, it's life, whatever. But it really shapes you into the person that you are today. So I think it's important to know and be aware of these wounds so you can start to heal and work through them. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is an abandonment wound. Abandonment is basically when a child is not properly cared for or loved or attuned to. The child basically will feel abandoned whether their parent is there or not. However, the child cannot really get themselves to put the blame on their parents. So a lot of times the child takes responsibility for their parents' neglect and put it all on themselves. Abandonment wound really hinders the security of a child. It really stunts their growth and prevents them from having a healthy sense of self. So this may show up later in life as insecurities, fear of being alone. People are usually really codependent and they usually attract people. So this could be relationships or friendship. They usually attract people who are emotionally unavailable. The next one I'm going to be talking about is a guilt wound. Guilt is an emotion that is super powerful, and I don't think anybody likes to feel guilty about anything. So guilt is actually introduced a lot of the times by parents. Parents use guilt as a parenting tactic to control a child's behavior, and I don't think it's healthy. This parenting tactic usually causes children to have very anxious thinking. In adulthood, it leads them into depression. Also, when you use this parenting tactic, the child is usually also very angry and they internalize their problems. It shows up by causing a fear of setting boundaries. So usually like this person allows people to walk over them or just get in their circle and disrupt things without setting any strict guidelines. These people usually hate to ask for stuff. They kind of just like to get stuff done by themselves. Like, hey, I got it, I'll do it. And these people usually attract people that make them feel guilty. So think about that. Trust wound usually happens when a parent is not fully present in a child's life. This causes the child to have a lack of trust with themselves and also a lack of trust with others. This child usually experiences a lot of inconsistency from their parent. They never really truly know what to expect from their parent. They don't know if their needs will be met. It's kind of just like an up and down or just, I don't know, we'll see kind of thing with their parent. This shows up later in life as people who are afraid to be hurt. These people don't trust themselves and they find ways not to trust other people. They literally go in their head and like make up these stories to help build cases against people not to trust them. These people feel very insecure on the inside, and they actually need a lot of external validation. Never truly feel safe, and they usually attract people that don't make them feel safe. The next one I'm going to be talking about is a neglect wound. Emotional neglect is when your parent or your primary caregiver disregards you, they dismiss you, they devalue you, and they don't really acknowledge your feelings. This causes like an invisible injury to the recipient, which is usually the child. I mean, of course, this can happen later in life also. This is a wound that really cuts deep because a lot of the times the parent or the primary caregiver aren't aware of how they're hurting this person. The children usually feel very empty on the inside and invisible. This tends to show up later in life as people who struggle to let things go. They get angry easily. They repress their emotions. They fear being vulnerable. And they usually attract people who make them feel unseen. I think it is wild that the wounds that we experience as children, we attract that in our relationships and our friendships. Like, I think maybe it's because it's something that feels familiar, but essentially it causes so much more damage. I've been seeing like a lot of debates on the internet on parents saying they're going to whoop their children or how they will discipline their children. My main thing is I want people to make sure that they are raising their children in secure and loving environments. People have to realize that children are little people that turn into adults, and everything you do from birth to about 18 or even older affects your children. And they have to be the ones to clean that up. And a lot of times they don't clean it up. And that's why we have this cycle of generational curses. And parents are just doing the same thing. And it's just a cycle. That's why I think we should learn how to lead more in love. We should be more informed on mental health issues and how it affects our children. I feel like in African American community, they want us to be hard. They want us to be strong. But it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be loving. Because I feel like at the end of the day, this world is not going to evolve if we're stone-faced all the time. You know, I feel like we have to get in a place to where we can actually open up and talk about things. I mean, unfortunately, lots of parents are unaware of how their parenting tactics and how they go about things affects their children when they get older. A lot of times parents don't even want to talk about this, or they seem to forget and dismiss anything that they feel like didn't happen. I think having this knowledge from my video will help you look at others differently. I think it's important to really lead in love because we don't know what kind of wounds people are suffering from. A lot of times people don't tell you about the wounds that they're suffering from. A lot of people suppress these things, but I think it's important to know the identifiers so you can kind of know what you're working with. Once you're able to identify these wounds for yourself, you can start to work on healing. If you want to see a video on reparenting and how to really just nurture your inner child, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to make a video on that. That's some things that I've been working on myself, and I would love to share on how I work through this healing process. If you suspect that you are wounded from some childhood stuff, I say it's important to maybe seek therapy. If you can't afford therapy, there are some free options where you can do these texting apps, or even journal, or find somebody you can talk to. See if your parents are open to talking about these things so you guys can find some type of common ground in healing. I think that is very important to at least talk about it and get these emotions out. I just want to end with being able to identify your wounds and your problems helps get you on the right path to recovery. I feel like it makes you more a healthy person, and it will make you, if you are a parent or if you become a parent, maybe have a different outlook on your parenting style and how you can make society better from how you parent your children. So with that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is the first video in my Unraveling the Inner Child series. I want this video to really help, you know, the African American community particularly, but anybody who may be having these issues in their family, to be able to identify these problems and, you know, work through them and just create a more healthy society. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and be on the lookout for more videos from my series. Bye.